children and one granddaughter, which I'm guessing they're very proud. Brenda and Claude are both longtime members of the Waco Interfaith Conference, and I'm very proud to count both of these people as my dear friends. Brenda?
Thank you all for inviting us into your sacred space today. We're going to begin our program with a song, and I'm going to invite Eric Bocock to play for us. The name of the song is We Are One.
This song was written by Dan Seals, who was a Baha'i, and died just last year, I think it was. So with apologies to Dan, in a bombed out home in Belfast, a young girl is crying, she's alone, and she don't understand how the verses of one book teaching love and understanding can cause hate and killing in her land. In an old part of Jerusalem, two young boys are playing. They run and laugh the way that it should be. But one home has the crescent, one home has a star. They'll grow up and change from friends to enemies. But we are one. The flowers of one garden, we are one. The leaves of one tree. Let the hating stop. Let's join here together. We are one family. In a Pakistani village, a young boy on crutches takes a ball and lies helplessly there. Then he holds out his hand and no one will take it. They won't touch him or the clothes that he wears. On a side street in Selma, a young black is sitting in a squad car protected from the whites, 'cause they're burning a cross and send her a message. You can see the look of fear in her eyes. But we are one. The flowers of one garden, we are one. The leaves of one tree. Let the hating stop. Let's join here together. We are one family. Ponder in our hearts how we were all created from the same dust. The same dust. Searching we will find that the spirit of the ages come to find us. Come to find us. We are one. Flowers of one garden, we are one. Leaves of one tree, let the hating stop. Let's join here together. We are one family. We are one family. We are all a child of God. We are all one family.
excited to be here and to give a brief overview of the Baha'i faith and its beliefs. First, the topic we chose is oneness. I've come to realize that knowing something and realizing it are two different things. I know that exercising would benefit me physically and mentally and improve the quality of my life, but I can always bring up excuses not to exercise. It's too hot, it's too cold, I'm too tired, too sleepy. But once my soul realized the implications of oneness, it changed my life, my perspective, my behavior. And it's been changing and shaping my life for over 50 years now. But before we get into the Baha'i faith in oneness, I want to ask you all, what comes to your mind when you hear the word oneness?
Togetherness, solidarity.
Woman.
Connection.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Peace.
Agreement.
Wholeness.
Great. Okay, those are wonderful. Keep those in mind as we go through this. Oh, go back, sorry. So, most of the time when you meet a Baha'i and you ask them, well, what's the Baha'i faith? They're going to start out with these three onenesses. One God, one human family, and one unfolding religion. So when I encountered the Baha'i faith back, when I was a freshman in college at Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, there was this guy playing the piano, and of course I immediately ran over to him because he was playing the piano so well, and I just love music. And of course he found a way to introduce the Baha'i faith to me, as most Baha'is will. So he started talking about, the Baha'i faith believes that there's only one God. And this is the God that created everything, the unknowable essence. And we may call this unknowable essence by many names: God, Allah, Jehovah, the Great Spirit. But what we're really talking about is that this same great loving provider that has guided us and supported humanity throughout history. So I said, oh, I can go with that. I like that. So then the next thing he said, there's only one human family, only one mankind. So this one God created this one family. He's created us all. So he is the creator of everything and everybody. So we should look at mankind as one family, because it was created from this one God. And I said, I can believe that. That sounds good. He said, Baha'u'llah compares humanity to the human body, where millions of diverse cells live in harmony with one another. I said, that's cool. I like that. And then he said, there's only one unfolding religion. So there's only one religion. And I said, oh, wait a minute. That's not what I feel. I mean, I know. I look at the corners of the streets. I see all these churches. There's not one religion. How could that be? He said, well, Baha'is believe that there's only one God, only one mankind, only one religion. And that religion is revealed to mankind throughout the ages. It's like chapters in a book. You know, when you're reading a really good book, how it starts out and it builds up and goes on to a conclusion. Well, religion is like an unfolding story of human development. And God has sent throughout the time to educate us these messengers that reveal his words throughout the ages. These religions have been the inspiration and stimulus for the rise of civilizations. He said it's like you're going to put a fish in a bowl and not feed it. What's going to happen to them then? So this is the unfolding religion of God. Now, Baha'u'llah, he said, is the newest, it's the latest of these messengers that have come to teach mankind about God. So now I'm going to invite Eric up, and he is going to take, if you flip through this one, and then flip through another one. There we go. And so Eric.
So the graphic on the left kind of shows the Baha'i understanding of religion. So when we talk about religion, we're not saying our religion, we're saying the religion of God. We don't claim that Baha'u'llah is the only one, we just say he's the last in the series. And if you think about the manifestations like teachers, does the first grade teacher know less than the high school teacher? They certainly teach a simpler language, but why is it that they're different? It's because their capacity of their students is different, right? So if we go back to the covenant with Abraham, God said he would never leave man alone. Now, admittedly, humanity has not done a very good job maintaining the true faith, shall we say. Because as Dan Seal's song pointed out, and we could just look around today, the violence is still going on in Ireland. There's violence in Israel. And yet these are people that both have a messenger from God fighting over them. Baha'u'llah resolved that problem. He took away that disunity by saying they've all come from God. But their teachings were to different people at different times. You know, in the Pentateuch, it says that you could be killed for bumping into a Jew, that your hand could be cut off for stealing. Those laws no longer are applicable because mankind has changed. We have different things. So Baha'u'llah just says that God is kind of like Microsoft. You know, you use a certain program for a while and then they bring out version 2.0. And then there's version 2.1a. And then there's version 4.0. So Baha'u'llah says that this is the same way with God. That as mankind progresses, he reveals a new revelation that is for that time and age. Can you say that the people of today are the same of 2,000 years ago? I was thinking about this the other day. 2,000 years ago, people thought that their gods lived on Mount Olympus. I forget what the Scandinavians thought, but they had their Odin and their Thor and their thing, and the Greeks had their Zeus and Hera, and the Romans had the Jupiter, and I forget what his wife's name was. So when you think about the divine revelation at that time, it obviously would be a little bit different than today when we have the advances of science, right? We're not stupid people, we're intelligent. Maybe this is why, and I can't speak for Baha'u'llah, but he says that there are no clergy in the Baha'i faith. So these teachings come from these messengers as we progress. From Abraham, the family, to Moses, the tribes. Jesus came at the time of the city-states. Muhammad actually spoke of nationhood, not kingdoms, nationhood. And now Baha'u'llah talks about being a world citizen and says that he's revealed teachings to help us become that way. Notice become, we've got a ways to go, don't we? So, the oneness of mankind is in our DNA. The Psalms, ye are the leaves of one tree, the flowers of one garden. That's the writings of Baha'u'llah that he revealed 200 years ago almost. Universal peace upheld by a consultative body. Our last quote that we'll share with you gives you a little bit more thorough understanding of that. It's a consultative body of all of the religious leaders and world leaders so that they can come together and resolve our problems. The common foundation of all religions, equality of men and women, elimination of all forms of prejudice, universal compulsory education, a part of which includes a world auxiliary language so that no matter where a man goes, he may be as one brother to another, thereby giving you a practical component for achieving world peace and unity. That we should begin to see social and economic problems in light of the fact that we have the material means, we have the sciences, but the reason we're not implementing them is because of spiritual reasons. We have too much of the preceding things, prejudice, too many things of the hatred over things that keep us apart. How do we get rid of these things that keep us apart? We have to address it on a spiritual realm. Oh, I must have intuited that last one, a universal auxiliary language. But everyone should be educated. In fact, Baha'u'llah, this might be an interesting note, at least for the ladies. In many cultures, we know, like in Afghanistan and some others, women aren't even allowed education. Baha'u'llah said that if a family has only enough money to educate a son and a daughter, and they only have enough money to educate one, they should educate the woman, the girl, because she is the first teacher of their children. And if you start with educating the women, you will have a much more educated society, right? I've learned many things from my wife. I can attest to this. Okay, we're just going to share a couple of quotes directly from Baha'u'llah's writings. Now, if you took all of Jesus' words from the New Testament, they might fill a very small pamphlet, his words, not all of the others. Baha'u'llah was imprisoned, tortured, exiled, over and over, and yet he revealed over 100 books. And so we have a volume of sacred scripture, as the Baha'is view it, that is in accordance with our needs for this day and age. But we chose these three because I just loved your principles. Your principles, I was studying them. I have my best friend in Chicago goes to a UU church in the Elgin area. And we've had hours and hours of discussion. I won't say exactly why. Anyway, he's on the board there and the troubles they've gone through and stuff. You know, we're all facing troubles because we're not separate from the society we live in. The first quote from Baha'u'llah, "O ye children of men, know ye not why we created you all from the same dust, that no one should exalt himself over the other? Ponder at all times in your hearts how you were created. Since we have created you all from one same substance, it is incumbent on you to be even as one soul, to walk with the same feet, eat with the same mouth, and dwell in the same land, that from your inmost being, by your deeds and actions, the signs of oneness and the essence of detachment may be made manifest." We'll work on the end line thing there next time. Second one. So that's how we should treat each other, right? Second one, "O son of spirit, I created thee rich. Why dost thou bring thyself down to poverty? Noble I made thee. Wherewith dost thou abase thyself? Out of the essence of knowledge I gave thee being. Why seekest thou enlightenment from anyone beside me? Out of the clay of love I molded thee. How dost thou busy thyself with another? Turn thy sight unto thyself, that thou mayest find me standing within thee, mighty, powerful, and self-subsistent." Like Brenda, I've been a Baha'i for a very long time. I will tell you it's over 50 years. But it has taken me up until the last couple of years to really appreciate this. I liked Brenda's distinction. There's a difference between knowing something and really grasping it, I guess is the way I would put it. And not just grasping it, but making it a part of your life. I was raised by a woman who had depression from before I was born, or maybe shortly after. Maybe I was the reason. Until the day she died, she was on Prozac. It does not engender a feeling of nobility in my own soul. Because I had to fix things for her all the time. I was the one that had to be the source of. And the other thing was, her being depressed, there was nothing I could ever do that was ever right, that was ever good enough, that was ever, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So I only mention that because it's taken me a very long time to actually consider that as truth. And once I did, it's kind of changed my attitude in life. It's finally kind of sunk in. It took me 50 years. I apologize, God. Oh, Son of Spirit, the last one. The best beloved of all things in my sight is justice. Turn not away therefrom if thou desirest me, and neglect it not that I may confide in thee. By its aid thou shalt see with thine own eyes, and not through the eyes of others, and shalt know of thine own knowledge, and not through the knowledge of thy neighbor. Ponder this in thy heart, how it behooveth thee to be. Set it then before thy sight. Verily, justice is my gift to thee, and the sign of my loving kindness. So justice, it's also taking me decades and decades to realize, for me as a Baha'i, that when I read the words of Baha'u'llah, I'm reading the words of God to me. Because when I would read something like, noble have I created thee, I was like, oh, that must apply to somebody else. It doesn't apply to me. Finally, one day I was like, that applies to me. Well, so does this other one. The best beloved of all things in my sight is justice. Baha'u'llah talks about justice on a lot of things. But I never thought of justice as being something you and I seeing with our own eyes. Baha'u'llah says no man can tell somebody else what to believe, what to think. So you will find that one of Baha'u'llah, it will not surprise you that Baha'u'llah has a prohibition against proselytizing. He says every person has to decide for themselves. All we can do is share what we understand. So that kind of goes back to one of your principles that I love so much, that we accept and respect the dignity and the inherent self-worth of every individual. That's inherent in what your principles say. It's also inherent what Baha'u'llah says here.
Okay. So, Eric, you're going to join me up here. We're going to start the singing.
It's that turn again?
Yeah, it's a round song. And so the words are up there. Do we need the guitar?
Yeah.
Okay. And,
I do. Maybe you don't.
So it's an echo. So the first group is going to sing the first We Are Drops, and the second is going to echo it. So it would go something like that.
We are drops.
We are drops
Of one ocean.
of one ocean.
We are waves.
We are waves
Of one sea.
of one sea.
Come and join us
Come and join us
in our quest for unity. It's the way of life for you and me. We are flowers, of one garden.
of one garden.
We are leaves,
We are leaves
of one tree.
of one tree.
Come and join us
Come and join
in
us
our quest for unity. It's a way of life for you and me. It's the way of life for you and me. It's the way of life for you and me. I was going to introduce this song. Imagine a lovely lady here swaying with the Hawaiian movements to all of the birds. Usually my wife accompanies me, and she does that.
But she's the nutcracker, so that's what she's doing today. So I thought that there was some interesting facts about the Baha'i faith. So the Baha'i shrines and the world governing body of the Baha'i faith sits on Mount Carmel in Israel. Since it's a new day, the Baha'is have their own calendar. You know, all the religions do have their own calendars. The Jewish have a calendar. So the major religions do have a calendar. And our calendar consists of 19 months, of 19 days, and each of the month is named after an attribute of God, like splendor, mercy, glory, questions. Baha'is are enjoined to pray and read the holy words twice a day. There are 9 annual Baha'i holy days when work and school are suspended. Baha'is fast annually for 19 days from sunrise to sunset. Only Baha'is can donate to the Baha'i funds. Among its goals, establishing first a lesser peace, then the most great peace. As mentioned before, there are no clergy or priests in the Baha'i faith. Each city with 9 or more Baha'is, adult Baha'is, elect a local spiritual assembly which governs the Baha'i affairs in that city. And we have beautiful houses of worship all over the world. Australia, Chile, Chicago, which is our mother one in Wilmot, Illinois. If you ever fly into Chicago, the pilot, or at least the few times I've done that, will say, and now we're passing by the Baha'i temple that looks like an orange juicer. But it's beautiful. It's Germany, Panama, and Uganda, just to name a few. So I know you may have questions, but our time has run out, so we will be in the fellowship hall after this presentation and very happy to answer any questions you may have about the Baha'i faith. And so Eric is going to take us into our parting thoughts here. So here we go.
This was the first quote that I had my daughter learn when she was growing up. The great being saith, O ye children of men, the fundamental purpose animating the faith of God and his religion is to safeguard the interests and promote the unity of the human race, and to foster the spirit of love and fellowship amongst men. Suffer it not to become a source of dissension and discord, of hate and enmity. This is the straight path, the fixed and immovable foundation. Whatsoever is raised on this foundation, the changes and chances of the world can never impair its strength, nor will the revolution of countless centuries undermine its structure. Our hope is that the world's religious leaders and rulers thereof will unitedly arise for the reformation of this age and the rehabilitation of its fortunes. Let them, after meditating on its needs, take counsel together and, through anxious and full deliberation, administer to a diseased and sorely afflicted world the remedy it requireth.
Well, we all know this, right? Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure and uplifting to attend your service and to see all of you Thank you very much.